Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about rebuilding champion. Now it's a perfect time to rebuild some champions because we have this 100% gear removal cost reduction event going on for the next 3.5 days. And the art of rebuilding a champion is really something that every free-to-play player needs to master. Because we don't have unlimited rosters, we just don't have every champion, we also don't have unlimited gear. For a free-to-play player, you need to really optimize your champions and get the maximum progress out of each and every 6-star that you build. So you need to answer the questions: who am I going to rebuild? Why am I going to rebuild them? What build am I going to put them into? And even when is it a good time to rebuild a champion? I'm going to answer all of those questions in this video. I'm also going to show you my method for rebuilding a champion. I'm actually going to rebuild 2 champions right here in this video so that you can see it unfold in real time. And hopefully that will give you the information that you need in order to rebuild your champions successfully and find even more account progress in your current roster without the need of getting a new legendary, pulling a shard, or fusing a champion or anything like that. All right, I hope you're ready for it. Let's get started. Just a friendly reminder to go ahead and click that like button for this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. Our live stream schedule is still a little bit up in the air, but I will definitely be here on Tuesday at 1 p.m. for our Takeover Tuesday live stream, where we give away free takeovers to our Discord members. You should come check that out. Also, watch out for some Sunday Fun Day live streams. We do those every once in a while as well. All right, thanks so much. Now let's get back to the video. Here I am out of the way so that you can see all of the stats on the gear that we're going to be using in our rebuilds. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the 3 most common types of rebuilds you are likely to do. And there are more types of rebuilds. You can rebuild the champion for any reason that you want. But I think there are 3 types of rebuilds you're likely to engage in more frequently. And it starts with probably the most common type of rebuild, which is the upgrade rebuild. This is something you're going to be doing right from the very beginning of the game. An upgrade rebuild is very simple. It's exactly that. It's an upgrade. You're going to take a champion who's already built and performing a role, and you're going to improve their ability to perform that role well by upgrading their gear. That's it. So if we look at our roster here, there are several types of champions that you could do an upgrade rebuild on. One type of champion might be your arena nuker. You can see here is Genbo, my arena nuker. And let's say he's doing pretty well, but I want him to hit harder. Maybe I can change his artifact set. I can move from these crit damage sets into a savage set where he'll ignore defense, and that might be a way to improve his performance. I could add speed. I could add accuracy, maybe if I wanted to add accuracy into his kit, because he does have a buff strip mechanic that I don't really use that much. But so there are different ways to upgrade a champion. Usually it's either a pure stat upgrade. I'm trying to go from 5-star gear to 6-star gear, get more crit damage, get more speed, get more attack. Or I'm moving from sort of a early game or mid game set into a late game set. So I might be moving from, let's say, an offense set into crit damage, or from crit damage into savage and cruel, that kind of thing. So you're going to do this a lot, and you're going to do this for most of your 60s that you use. Almost no 60s will stay in their original build. They just won't, right? As you get better gear, you upgrade them. So this is easily the most common rebuild that you're ever going to do. Now, I will be doing an upgrade rebuild here in the video today. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the other 2 types of rebuild. So rebuild number 2 is a little bit less common, but it's very important. You need to get good at this. And this is building or rebuilding a specialist. Now, this is a rebuilding video, but building and rebuilding a specialist basically happens the same way, because this is almost always a complete build. It's very different than the upgrade build, right? Upgrade build is you're basically tweaking. But a specializing build, when you build a specialist or when you respecialize a specialist, you're going to build them very specifically for a particular solution or role. For instance, if you want to build a solo Bommel champion, that is a specialist build. Now, you might have a champion who's never been built before, like Lady Annabelle. You just run her up to 60, and the very first time you build her as a Bommel solo champion. and that's it. So that's building a specialist. Or maybe you had a Lady Annabelle and you had her in some other build for faction crypts or something else, and then you wanted to re-specialize her for Baumel. So you take her out of her previous build and put her into a regen and immortal build specifically for Baumel. So you could specialize any champion that you find useful for any kind of content. It could be really anything. It could be a damage dealer, it could be a support, it could be a solo champion, it could be a tank, it could be an ally protector, whatever it happens to be. Any champion probably has some specialty potential. Some champions are more versatile than other champions and so tend not to be specialized as often. But as your account progresses, you will make more specialists. That's something that just happens over time. So if you are in the mid game right now, you're probably experiencing sort of the state of the game where you need a specialist. You really need somebody specifically built to solve a problem for you. And it can be tricky because you might have to specialize somebody that you actually utilize in a lot of places. And so they're going to lose value in other places, but gain value where you specialize them. So, I've done this a couple of times. I've made solo champions like Lady Annabelle for Baumel, but another champion who, say, might be specialized could be, for instance, Ultimate Death Knight might be specialized. I don't have him specialized, but you might specialize him for Arena, right? To be that slow-built stone skin tank that you put up in Arena. So that would be a specialist build. Respecializing a champion can sometimes happen if you have a champion who's good at two roles. So for instance, Sun Wukong. You can see here I have Sun Wukong in a build that emphasizes his buff strip, right? So he has this A3 that steals all buffs from all enemies and places a block buffs debuff on them. For this, he needs speed and accuracy. And as you can see, I've built him into speed sets and perception sets. He's got pretty good accuracy at just over 300. If I wanted to upgrade this build, I could go for more accuracy or more speed. However, Sun Wukong is also an excellent nuker. So if I wanted to respecialize him as a nuker, I would take him out of these sets, get him into Savage and Cruel, probably drop his speed quite a bit, boost his crit damage, and go for the maximum amount of damage I could get. So whether it's specializing the first time or respecializing a champion, you want to have an idea of exactly what purpose you want that champion to serve, either what role or what solution. So very clearly have that intention when you're starting the rebuild, because without that clear intention, you're going to have difficulty choosing gear, right? So we want to be very specific when we're creating a specialist or respecializing a champion. Okay, now let's talk about the third reason for rebuilding a champion. And this is, it covers a little bit of the area of the other two rebuilds, but it's a bigger picture view. So let's say you are looking for a specific solution for a team. You want to build a team composition. Now that could be something as simple as an arena team, or maybe you're building a clan boss team, or maybe you're building a team to solve Iron Twins or Sand Devil's Necropolis or Dark Fae. In that specific case, you're not just building or rebuilding a champion based on just that champion. You're rebuilding that champion to fit within a team composition. Now, this is the more complicated, or maybe the most complicated type of rebuild. So for instance, let's say I was taking Nishak Verminlord and I was trying to rebuild him for that one-shot Baumel team that YST created last year, I think, or maybe even a year and a half ago. It's like, it's a great team. It helps you farm Baumel really quickly, and it's really fun. But it doesn't just take Nishak Verminlord. He also has to be built into a particular team. So his speed needs to be right. His accuracy needs to be right. He needs to be in the turn order in the right place. He needs to have the right amount of attack. And so I might be rebuilding 3 or 4 champions at the same time to create that team composition for that solution. This is also the thing that you do typically when you build a speed-tuned clan boss team or a Hydra team or an arena team. So we do this frequently as well, and it's a little bit trickier. I won't be covering this type of rebuild in today's video, but I'm going to do a couple of more videos this week on rebuilds. So hopefully I'll get to one of those in the next few days. Make sure to watch out for that. Okay, so now we've talked about the type of rebuilds, but we have to also talk about how to choose when to rebuild a champion. And there are two considerations, I think, when you're deciding to rebuild a champion. If it's an upgrade champion, like an upgrade rebuild, you can do that anytime. I think that's literally anytime. But if you are respecializing a champion, or if you are building a new composition around several champions and you need to rebuild all those champions, you have to decide when. And I think there are a couple of ways I decide when I'm going to do that. The first is when the progress that this rebuild will unlock becomes important to me in terms of my activities in game. And what I mean is, think about your current objectives. Your objectives may change from time to time. But for instance, let's say you were going after your Lydia, the Death Siren. All of a sudden, rebuilding champions specifically for faction crypts becomes important. Until you start to focus on Lydia, you don't really need to rebuild anybody for faction crypt. You just farm based on the champions you've already got built, right? But at some point, you're going to get up to 700, 800 stars, and you're going to start thinking, now Lydia is a goal. So whatever your current goal is, whatever your priority list looks like, maybe it's clan boss at the top of the list, or maybe you've got your clan boss totally locked down and you don't need to rebuild there at all. So then it's Hydra. Or maybe you've got Hydra locked down, so now you're thinking about Iron Twins, whatever it happens to be. So the first thing you have to decide is, what's my priority? And then, will a rebuild unlock significant progress here and hopefully solve that content or make significant progress past an obstacle? Now, the second thing you want to think about when rebuilding is, when is a good time in your schedule? It's going to take a few hours for you to do, but it's also going to take a lot of resources. So right now, we said it was a good time because of this gear removal reduction, cost reduction that's going on. That is good, but there's actually other things that are going on right now as well. There's an artifact enhancement event. Now, these pop up more often than the gear cost removal thing. So artifact enhancement events are a really good time to think about doing a rebuild. There is a CVC that just ended, but a CVC can also be a good time to do some rebuilding because you're going to be rolling up gear, and you may, in fact, be unlocking progress. You might be leveling up champions. You might be doing all of these things. Like if you're making a team composition, maybe one or two of those champions need to actually be leveled as well. So you can do it during a clan v clan. I try to always double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip when I can on my resources. I don't like spending silver and not getting more value than just the upgrades to the gear. So consider those things for the when. But sometimes an objective is just so important that the when is now, right? The when is today if I can do it. I just pulled my Demitha and I have the Myth Air unlocked as soon as I want it. As soon as I just put the time and effort in, I can do it today and I can start getting my 1 key Ultra Nightmare team going. Do it today then don't worry about it, right? But if you can wait a couple of days for an artifact enhancement event, or if you know that there's, one of these coming along, one of the gear removal events coming along, or whatever way you can get a little bit of extra benefit, if you can wait, then go ahead and wait and then do the rebuild during an opportune time. Okay, now I want to talk about some actual upgrades. We're going to rebuild 2 champions here today on the channel. If you've been watching my content for the last couple of weeks, you know that I recently redid my clan boss team. And one of the reasons why I wanted to redo my speed tune was to detach Cardiel here from my clan boss team. The reason I wanted to do that is because Cardiel is built pretty well over here. You can see he's running at 260 speed. I'll actually show you his stats. His stats are pretty good. He was in clan boss. So these were the stats he was running with. 100% crit rate, 226% crit damage, because every bit of damage counts there. It was an unkillable team, so I didn't need him to be super tanky, but I run him everywhere. So 260 speed, almost 5k defense, 51,000 HP. You can see he has okay resistance. He has a lot of accuracy, which he actually doesn't need. He does have a skill that requires accuracy, but it's not really that important to his kit. So I had this build for a long time. Over a year, he's been in this build, and he does very well in a lot of content. But I know he can do better. I know that he can be more powerful in other places. So now that he's out of my clan boss team, it's a perfect time to rebuild him. right? I don't want to lose the value of this champion. And technically I haven't, right? He's still in the build that I've been using for the last year and a half, and he's great everywhere. But I know that there are two things that would make him better. Actually, three things that would make him better. The first is he needs more speed. He's way more valuable when he's fast. So I want to rebuild Cardiel, hopefully with a minimum of 300 speed. If I could get him up to 350 or 380, I would, but I have some other considerations as well. The second thing is he's a cleanser, right? And cleansers do better with high resist. You want more resist. So I need to get him, right now he's at 274. I would like to get him at least over 300, preferably 400. 400 resist would be a really nice number for me to shoot for. And then finally, survivability. Now he has a really nice defense here at basically 5,000 defense. I wouldn't mind pushing that a little bit, but I don't really need to push beyond 5,000. 5,000 is enough really for all content. But his HP pool is a little bit low, especially for his defense, right? So you can see he's at 51,000. I would like to get that up over 60,000 if I could. That would be really great. Even if I dropped him down to like 4.5K defense, if I could get him over 60,000, that would be really nice. Now, a couple of things to know about a rebuild is it doesn't always go according to plan, and it doesn't need to all happen at once in order to be effective. So I'm going to try a rebuild. I have those stats in mind. I have a priority in mind. I think speed is first, resist is second, survivability is third. So I definitely want to get him over 300 speed. I definitely want to get him over like 300, 350 resist if I can, even higher. And then, you know, the survivability, the HP comes last. So the first step I'm going to take is I'm going to look at the build that he's currently in terms of the actual pieces. So you'll notice I do have some crit damage boots here, crit damage helmet. So that's boosting his crit damage. I clearly don't need the crit damage. You can see this one doesn't have any speed on it. This one has a little bit of resistance. This one has a little bit of resistance. So I am going to be losing some resistance when I get out of these pieces. But I could definitely go into like a resistance set, some other set that's going to give me resistance here. If I look at my gloves, I actually have crit rate gloves, which I no longer need. They are pretty fast. 21 speed here, which is not bad. They have some nice defense on them as well. So this is going to drop my defense a little bit, but hopefully I can get them into defense percentage or HP percentage gauntlets with a little bit more speed. My chest plate looks good. Let's see. This looks pretty good here. I have a lot of crit rate there that I don't need, so maybe I could get some more speed out of a shield. Now, as far as my accessories are concerned, I have defense here with speed. That's fine. It's also a revenge banner, which is great on Cardiel. I like that, but I don't necessarily need the revenge banner. So potentially I could get him out of this to get more speed. I could also put him in a resistance banner. That would help me boost his resistance without resorting to a resistance chest plate, which I would not want to do if I can help it. So this is a place where I could get almost an additional 100% resistance. So I'll be looking for that as well. Okay, I do want to think about the sets that I want to use. There are a lot of sets that would be fine for him, but if I'm trying to get him fast, obviously speed and divine speed are sets to consider. Perception set can be good. So can the righteous set. Righteous set might actually be perfect for him because this is speed and resistance. I could also think about supersonic. Supersonic is a pretty good speed for speed set, right? If I have accessories, I'll take a look at the accessories in supersonic. I could potentially get him to 8 pieces, which would give me a whole lot of speed and also help me with turn meter. I could even get to 9 pieces if I have all of the accessories. I don't think I do, but that's not likely to happen. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to the filter. I'm going to turn on the fitting room, and I am going to click on equipped. I want to see the gear pieces that my other champions have. Cardiel has priority here. I can't break any solutions, right? I can't break my Clan Boss team. I can't break my Iron Twins team, but I can pull pieces from champions who are not as important, who maybe are only used like in 3v3 arena or faction crypts or like one, Doom Tower solution or something like that. So I do want to click on equipped just so I can see all of the pieces available. And then I like to close everything down and start thinking about the pieces that I want to change. So the first thing that I'm definitely going to change here is the gauntlet, right? The gauntlet is crit rate, and I don't want crit rate there. I want defense percentage or HP percentage. Either one would increase my tankiness. I would prefer HP percentage, by the way, because my defense is already at 5K. So I don't need 7K defense. That doesn't make a ton of sense, right? Like generally, there's sort of a maximum amount of defense that you need, and it's very rarely over 5K for most champions. In fact, I could even drop this back a little bit. Like 4K with 90,000 HP would be a lot better. But we'll see. So we're going to go ahead here to the primary stats. We're going to look for HP and defense. We're going to do that for the gloves here. I'm also going to do it for the chest piece. One of the things I like to do is come and look at the actual piece that I have so I can see, you know, could I get something more here? I don't think I can, right? I mean, I could potentially get something that's a little bit faster. I doubt I have a defensive percentage chest piece that has more than 16 sort of natural speed on it, but we can take a look. We can take a look. So the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to priority stats and I'm going to choose speed. I want to put that high. And then for rank and rarity, I'm actually going to stay with all 6-star gear because I don't think there's going to be any 5-star gear that plays for me. All right. So now let's go ahead and look at some of the pieces. I actually probably, rather than starting with perception, I want to start with righteous. And I want to start with righteous because it has that speed and resist that I'm looking for as Cardiel is my cleanser. Here's a piece. Here's a very good piece. Now this is on Archer, but Nergigante Archer is the other champion I'm going to be rebuilding in this video. I'm going to put her into a different build entirely. So Cardiel's getting the upgrade rebuild. Nergigante Archer is going to get the respecialization rebuild. So, okay, let's go ahead and maybe steal this piece from her. Let's look at the chest pieces. Neither one has speed as a substat. Okay. So we'll have to look for another righteous piece to fill out this set here. Okay, so we've got that. That's not bad. Now, we did lose a speed piece, right? And we want to keep the speed pieces if we can. The perception pieces are less important, although I wouldn't break up the set because it is giving the speed set bonus. So we want to think about that as well. So let's look at chest pieces and let's see about speed. Are there any good speed chest pieces that we can use? That doesn't have a lot of speed on it. We're looking for, right, high values in speed. In fact, what I should go here is go to substats and say it has to have speed as a substat. Okay, so I'm not going to steal from my Arbiter, and I'm not going to steal from my Armands, and I'm actually also not going to steal from my Painkeeper, although this piece isn't that great anyway. So let's go ahead and take a look at another set. I could look at Immortal, actually. Immortal is a set that would be worth considering for Cardiel. You know what? Let's also look for resistance. Let's see if there's any resistance on a piece. So right now, Cardiel's current piece is pretty good. It's going to be hard to replace. We could look at Divine Speed. I don't need that crit rate. We could look at Resilience. Not really that much speed. I could do something like Protection, right? Protection is pretty good because it gives actually resistance, HP, and speed, you know, here. So this would be a pretty good thing. Plus, if he has the 4-piece set bonus, then his block debuffs buff could be protected. It would have a chance to be protected. So that would actually be really nice. And even five pieces would be really great. I didn't even think about that. So I should consider Protection. But I really don't have, a spare piece unless I wanted to pull this off of Pythion, which I don't. And I'm not going to put them in a full regeneration set or a shield set or anything like that. So it looks like that chest piece may be staying. We'll just keep that chest piece for now, which it's hard to replace that chest piece. It's a very good chest piece. All right. So now let's go ahead and I usually do Gauntlet and chest piece first because those define the build, right? If you don't have them available, then you have to start thinking about juggling other pieces. So let's go ahead and now look at speed boots. Again, we want 6-star speed boots. Here, I'm just going to turn this off. Priority we don't care about right now. I do want resistance, sorry, as a substat. And I do want 6 stars. Okay, so let's look at this speed piece. This speed piece right here is really nice. It's got HP percentage, flat HP, defense percentage. It's got a roll into resistance. That's a pretty good speed piece. Let's look down here and see if there is, all right, supersonic. That's not a bad piece either. That could work really well for him. That's not bad. I like supersonic on him. Stone skin is kind of cool on him, but I don't think that's what I want to go with. And then we have perception. This has got a lot of accuracy I don't need. I could actually do as the priority stat, I could do resistance. See how that breaks down. Yeah, I think this is probably the piece. Let's try that on. Okay. Now we need another righteous piece. Right? We need another righteous piece. We know it's not going to be the boots. And it's not going to be like any of the bottom pieces. So it's going to be one of the top 3 pieces. So let's go here. We want a substat of speed and one of resistance if we can get it. Let's go down and look at righteous. Again, we have another piece from Archer. We already know that we're stealing a piece from Archer. This is a pretty good piece. Double roll into resistance and a roll into speed. Now, I think originally, and we'll talk more about Archer, but originally what I was doing with Archer was trying to make her the mischief tank for Hydra, and I've decided to get her out of that role and into a different role, so that's why we're going to be rebuilding her. So actually, I feel comfortable stealing this piece as well. Okay, so now we've got 2 pieces here. We still have a helmet that we need to replace. We could look at righteous still. But we're probably going to want to look at perception because we do have a perception set there, and that speed bonus could be valuable. The accuracy is okay. Like, it'll work in some places. I actually use it in arena fairly frequently. It can be a really great skill, and the skill is basically has an opportunity to fear champions from specific factions. That's the only thing that he needs accuracy for. And he doesn't necessarily need 329 accuracy. So let's go ahead and look at perception. We've got a couple of pieces here. Double speed with 1 roll in resistance. This is single speed with... Okay, so this is a better piece. Do I care about... That's a lot more resistance with accuracy and crit damage. That could work. So I could pull this from... Let's see. How much speed is here? This is 16 speed and 20 resist. And this is 12 speed and 32 resist. This is really nice. This is 18 speed with 22 resist. So that's faster and more resistance than that piece. Plus it's got defense percentage and flat defense. So this is probably the best piece. Ray is not super valuable to me, but she's also a damage dealer. So I would rather get her into, like, I could potentially swap her into this set with crit rate and crit damage in it. So this could go on Ray, and this piece could go on Cardiel. And so that's pretty nice. And let's see where we ended up. 305. Not bad. I want to get faster than that. How many glyphs do I have available? Probably not, none. None, really. So this would be close to final build. I could get a little bit more resistance, HP, and defense. The resistance has gone up to 340. Close to that 350 I was hoping for. I could probably glyph over 350. Then if I ever get the banner, I could get close to 450 resistance. I don't think I have a resistance banner. We'll take a look, though. So let's go ahead and look at the actual accessories now. Now, I'm actually going to start with the amulet because I think he's in a crit damage amulet. He is. So I can switch out of the crit damage amulet, which I don't need anymore because he's not doing clan boss. And I can look for an amulet that is either defense or HP. As a substat, I want resistance. And we'll see what is available. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to lose the Revenge Amulet set here. Again, remember, you don't have to do the full rebuild all at once. So if I don't have the right amulet here, I don't need to force it. But if I have something that has like a double roll into resistance, that might be worth it. This is pretty nice. So, you know, unfortunately, I've already rolled once into accuracy, but let's see if we roll into resistance here. Nope. Here's a roll into resistance. It does have flat attack, but attack plays for Cardiel. It's not awful. See if we get another roll into resistance. One more. Let's go one more roll into resistance. There we go. Okay, so that's definitely potential. This is a Blood Shield Amulet. I don't need a Blood Shield Amulet. That's a pretty nice piece, but obviously that's already... I don't really want to pull it off of Corvus. I could. If I really wanted to hold on to the Revenge component, this is nice. It does have one roll into resistance, 2 rolls into flat defense, additional 3,000 additional HP, which I wanted. You can see my defense is climbing higher and higher here. And here we've got the 31. So I think we're going to go ahead and throw this on. And that should be good. Go ahead and take it to 16. Maybe we'll get HP or defense. Crit damage. Not super useful, but okay. All right, resistance up to 347. That's pretty good. Now let's look at the banner. So I want a substat of speed. I'd prefer a main stat of resist. So this is the one that I've got. That's not too bad. Again, I would lose both of my Revenge accessories if I did these swaps. Now I am losing speed here. I'm losing 6 speed. I could glyph back to that speed. I would be getting 78 resist. This is only a 5-star banner. I would have to replace it anyway. So for right now, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think 347 is a good place to be. Again, if I could get a 6-star banner, that's going to get me basically an extra 100 resist. I am going to throw some enchantments on this. So let's go ahead and throw a 6-star resistance enchantment on this. Let's hope for something nice. 12 is solid. I'll take that. And then we'll just do some 4-star glyphs. And where did we end up? 359. Okay. And we improved our speed from 260 to 305. Our defense actually went to 5,785. That's a lot. And my HP didn't really go up. Let's just check one more time. See if we can find an HP percentage chess piece. Nothing has resist on it. So it looks like, unfortunately for now, I'm just going with a lot of defense. This is not an optimal upgrade, but the speed's really important. I did get a tiny little bit of extra HP, a lot more resist. So this feels better for a cleanser. It's going to be a lot stronger in places like Arena and Doom Tower. He's going to help me out. I didn't really lose much attack. I did cut my crit rate in half and my crit damage in half, basically. I only lost a little bit of accuracy, so he might still land his debuffs. Let's go ahead and make that change. And there you have it. That's an upgrade rebuild, right? He's already doing a good job in all of the places. I wanted to make him even better in all of the places. So what are the things that he needs? Speed, resistance, defense. He already had all of those things, but I sacrificed the damage that he had in order to not specialize him, but in order to optimize him for the role that he was already in, right? He's not a specialist. He's a generalist. He's going to be used everywhere. But I made him better at what he already does. That's basically what we did. So this feels pretty good. This feels pretty good. I do have to glyph that. I do have to glyph this as well. So let's go ahead and try to get some good HP on him. Ouch. All right, that's not too bad. We'll go with another resist. Again, getting the minimum. Wow. Killing my 6-star glyphs. Thank you so much, Raid. Okay. That's a little bit better. A little bit better on the HP, right? Get up to 53K. Okay. 5,800 defense is insane. I don't need that defense. That's a lot of defense. Okay, so yeah, hopefully at some point in the future, I'll be looking for an HP percentage gauntlet or an HP percentage chest plate. I could get out of this perception set. I don't need all of this accuracy. So if I got 2 more righteous pieces here, that would be perfect. That would be literally perfect. That would give me another 40 resist as well as the additional speed. Speed set would be good. Divine speed set could be good. You know, potentially there are some other sets that could be good. I'm thinking about some of the forged sets. So for instance, Defiant set could be good, right? Like I could put him in Defiant pieces, get more defense, reduce his damage taken from AoE attacks. That would be really nice. More survivability for my cleanser. Another one could be Fortitude. Fortitude has resistance and defense. Again, I could put him in Fortitude. So I might be forging some pieces and looking to replace that perception set. Okay, so now let's look at when we rebuild a champion for a new role, right? And that's what we're going to be doing with Nair Gigante Archer. And it's not necessarily a new role. It's a different way to approach the role. What I had was a Mischief tank build. And what I found was by building Nair Gigante Archer specifically to be a Mischief tank, she became much less valuable in other content. And I want to use her in more places. So I'm actually kind of despecializing her. That's what I'm doing. I'm going from a specialist build as a Mischief tank into a more general build that I think is actually going to be more useful both in Hydra, because I don't really need a Mischief tank, and in other content, because this new build is going to be more valuable. And so what I'm going to try to do is get her into a Relentless set. I want her to be fast, I want her to be accurate, and I want her to be tanky. Those are the 3 things that I need out of her. So I know I'm specifically looking for a Relentless set. So this is nice. I don't have to go hunting for pieces. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and put substat, speed. I'm going to close everything. I'm going to put on equipped, and I'm going to go look at my Relentless pieces. Now, out of all of my champions, I can steal from everybody except Newt. Okay, Newt is in a speed tune for Iron Twins that I can't break. If I wanted to change Newt's build, I could, but that would require all sorts of additional stuff. So basically what I'm trying to do here is make her as fast and tanky as possible. I want accuracy, and I want to make sure she has a great Relentless set on her. Now, I could go for damage as well, so you could do, like, she hits decently hard. So I could build her for damage, but for right now, I don't care so much. I don't think I'm going for damage at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and look through my pieces, and I'm looking for, let's go to priority stats, and we want speed high. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and look here. This is pretty good. I don't mind holding on to the resistance. That's a decent amount of speed, 17 speed there. This is really nice. Speed and defense. This isn't even glyphed yet. 22 speed. Wow. Why is this? Oh, because this has 23 speed. It's glyphed, but this actually has more speed. Now, Necmo is also important for Hydra, and I don't want to just leave him stranded. So if I pull any pieces off of Necmo, I'm going to have to replace those before I'm done with my rebuilds. That's something to consider. Like, I have a champion who I can't leave stranded, but I can also shift a little bit. So let's see if we pulled that helmet. What about Necmo's shield? Same thing, speed and defense. Okay, that's good. I do need to maintain her accuracy. I'd like her accuracy around 300. She gets an accuracy buff from her A1, so she doesn't need super, super high accuracy, but 300 is a good place for her with that 50% accuracy buff. Now it gets interesting. Now it gets interesting. Let's see if there's a weapon, because the weapon spot is empty right now. 16 speed. Attack doesn't play. HP does. What about this one? Speed, accuracy, HP, and crit damage. Not bad. Speed, HP. Resistance. So this is the fastest one at 16. And then it drops off considerably. So maybe we won't use a weapon. Let's go ahead and we can hide these pieces, right? So we're just looking at these 3 pieces now. I'm going to look at the gauntlet. Let's see. that's not. What about this one? Attack. This one is HP. These are not particularly fast. Here's a resistance chest plate with a triple speed roll. It's kind of nice, but I don't really want the resistance. Here's another, look at this. 2 back-to-back resistance chest plates, a 6-star and a 5-star, both with triple rolls into speed. I don't want accuracy either. Defense is good. And I don't necessarily need my Seeker to be super tanky. He's already fairly tanky. So let's pull that piece. And then let's go ahead and look at speed boots. See if there's speed boots here available. Not bad. That's not a bad boot. I don't know that I necessarily want to take those. All right, so now let's think about the other set that we're going to use. I know I don't have a complete Relentless set, but I have a lot of Relentless pieces, and I could steal from a lot of different people. So I want to see what the other pieces are that are available, so that I can kind of decide, you know, what's optimal for the other set as well. So let's go ahead and look at Perception. This is probably the set I'm going to use. One, because I have a lot of pieces here, right? This is actually a pretty good piece already. But 2, because I want accuracy and speed on it. This is nice. Okay, so this is, if you look at these two, this is a slight upgrade. I actually gain resistance. I do have attack here on this boot, which is not optimal. But I like the triple accuracy roll. That's going to bring that accuracy back up, right? Because I'm losing accuracy so far. It's got a defensive ascension, which is nice as well. Either way, I'm using Perception as a boot. Let's go ahead and just swap those boots. It doesn't really matter for right now. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we want to look at these two pieces. Actually, let's look at the gauntlet. Let's go ahead and we want probably HP percentage or defensive percentage. We do want speed as a substat. And I would prefer to have it as a 6-star piece only. Oh, that's a nice piece right there. I know it's only a rare, but it's got a double roll into speed, 17 speed, HP percentage as a flat percentage, defense percentage as the main stat. So that could be good. And that leaves us with that weapon in the Relentless set. So now if we go to the Relentless set, so I could take this 16 speed and lose a speed, like a roll into attack, or I could take this, get a little bit less speed, I'll give away 7 speed, but I get a lot of accuracy as a trade-off. I do want her accurate. It's only a 3-speed difference right now. I mean, I could glyph another, 8 speed. It could end up being over a 10-speed difference. But let's hold on to this for the time being, because I like that accuracy. I want to hold on to that accuracy if I can. And that other piece might be good for somebody else. Okay, so what have we done so far? Well, we've increased our HP. We've increased our attack. We've increased our defense a lot by almost 1,500, almost exactly 1,500, 1,502. We've increased our speed to 252. We lost a ton of resistance, almost 200 resistance, and we increased our accuracy by just a bit. We still have glyphs that can go on to 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, and we still have to roll this piece up. So let's go ahead and roll this up to 16. Does take a lot of silver to do this, doesn't it? And unfortunately, 2 awful rolls. We would have loved, resistance here or accuracy. Attack and crit damage are literally the 2 worst rolls we could have gotten. I would have rather had crit rate than crit damage. but even more defense up to 5850. Now, in this particular case, the extra defense, like we had a lot of defense on Cardiel, but the extra defense here plays a little bit better because it doesn't just increase her tankiness, it also increases her damage. So yeah, we're gaining 2000 defense here. So this is pretty good. Now let's go ahead and look at the accessories. Let's start with, the ring is great. It's a blood shield ring, probably just fine. Let's go ahead and look at the amulet. I want to see what's equipped on her. It's defense with accuracy, resistance. So that looks really good. So I'm not likely to replace that. Right? There's no real reason to replace that. I could go for protection for the 20 resist. Right? So if I really wanted extra resist, I could potentially go there. But this is, you know, an attack amulet. I think that's fine the way it is. Let's look at the banner. Again, in this particular case, I think accuracy or resistance would be good. Either one would be good. We definitely want speed as a substat. She currently has resistance, but it's okay to trade away some resistance, right? If we went to accuracy, that would be fine. I want speed. This is really nice. This is really nice. These are all stats that I like. Speed, HP, and defense. And then accuracy is a main stat. Let's go ahead and roll that up all the way. Ouch. 0.1 million. Flat attack. We're not rolling super well here. We can enchant this. Let's stick to the 4-star runes this time. No, we're definitely getting more than... Q? We don't accept minimums. I'll even ascend this just to see what happens here. Attack. Okay, we're going to redo that one. Any other stat work? HP. Okay. We'll hold on to that. Okay, so let's see where we stand now. So now looking at it, I'm realizing my accuracy is very high. I probably don't need accuracy this high because that's going to put her over 600, but I do want to use her in arena sometimes. So that could work. Speed is good at 248. I would love to see her at like 255, 256. That's really where I want her. I will have glyphs. So there's 1 speed glyph, 2 speed glyphs, 3 speed glyphs. 3 speed glyphs should get me over 256. And then I have glyphs here for accuracy. So maybe what I should do right now, I'm just going to check. I'm just going to check to see if I can find some HP gauntlets in another set where I can trade away, you know, the perception. I don't need the accuracy. I don't need her all the way at 421. And like a really good set would be speed. This is really nice. It's going to give me a lot of extra HP. I'm trading away 17 speed here, but I will get some speed back by switching to the speed set, right? This could roll again. Let's go ahead and roll this one up to 12, see if we roll speed. Come on, speed. Roll crit rate. Kind of want to take it all the way up just to see. Oh, well. That's not going on her. Protection. No. What does supersonic do? The resistance. Yeah, I need 3 pieces there. And unfortunately, that didn't roll into speed. So I think one of these 2 pieces, this piece looks the best. If we did that, and then we look to replace the boot. Okay, so if I take this all the way up, let's see what happens. Good, defense and HP percentage. That's nice. Okay, So we drop back down to 5285. Oh, we got to take this one up as well. Defense percentage, awesome. Okay, so that took us up to 70,000 HP. That's much better. That's much more where I would like her at. Speed at 251, not yet glyphed. We're going to get her up to 260 minimum. Resistance is still okay at 203. That's not going to be resisting a lot, right? Like in PvE. But it's enough resistance to be more than the minimum, I guess. Accuracy at 359, that's better. We don't really need it up at 400, right? Somewhere around 350 is really good. I could potentially swap her out to a resistance banner if I feel like the resistance would be more valuable than the extra accuracy. But for right now, I really like that 350 mark because that's going to take her up to 475, right? No, it's going to take her up to 525. It's going to take her up over 500 accuracy when she has her A1 out, which is going to be really valuable in PvP. And that's higher than I basically need for any PvE content that I'm running, I think. I don't think there's a lot of places where you need more than 500 accuracy. So that feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and ascend this boot just to see. We get speed on it. Defense. Let's try one time. Come on. All right, we're going to try 2 times. Speed. There we go. That's awesome. That was the last time I was going to try it too, so let's go ahead and ascend that all the way. All right, now where's her speed sitting? 263. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful rebuild. I'm so happy with this rebuild. Let's go ahead and glyph everybody out. Let's use some 4-star glyphs on this stuff. For this speed here, we're going to go 6-star glyph. Let's hope for an 8. Come on. 5's not bad. Defense here, we could definitely throw a 6-star glyph on that as well. 7%, good. This one, let's do that. Same thing, 4-star glyph here. She's gonna be built so well. I'm so psyched for this. 6-star. That hurt. Come on. One more. One more. That's better. Ooh, 8. Nice. Yet more speed. More HP. More of the things that keep her alive and trucking. It's going to do so well in this build. I'm so psyched to use her in so many places now. She's going to be a menace in arena. She's going to be an absolute unkillable god in PvE. And I think that is full glyphs. So we landed, so we look at this change here. We went from 54,000 up to 72,000 HP. We added 1,800 defense, right? Got up to 5.7K, which is really nice place. I would very happily camp her right at 5,000. I think 5,000 is a great place for her to be. I don't think she's super valuable. Like, I don't think it's super valuable to increase her defense over 5,000. Although I could see a 6K build on her. I can see that. She's one of the few champions where that seems reasonable just because she does, in fact, hit so hard. So that extra defense plays in both areas. So, yeah, you have that. The resist is fine at 214. Again, if I feel like I have too much accuracy and I want to swap out that accuracy banner for resist, I still have that option. I can always go back to the perception set and a resistance banner if I wanted to not lose all of the accuracy, right? So this feels great. Now, a couple of things. I'm killing Nekmothar's build here. So I want to go over to Nekmothar and just make sure I get some pieces on him to flesh out his set. So I'm just going to come here to Relentless. Same thing that I did before. And I'm also going to go and check out my... I think this is the piece that we wanted to put on him, right? I don't think there was anything with accuracy. This doesn't have speed, so I think it's this. And then the shield. This one with the accuracy, the speed, and the HP. and he's still up around 250. So I think that's good for him. We still have a banner to put on him. We're going to land at like 270 with him in terms of speed. So that's going to be awesome. And yeah, he doesn't even have his masteries yet, so he's going to get more speed from that as well. And then the other thing I want to do is check my Seeker, because I took my Seeker, I broke his Relentless set. But there was a chess piece for Seeker that I think was pretty good. It was this speed. It was either this one, the attack, or the resistance. I don't know that the resistance is enough, but it's so much speed, right? It's really good to get him in Relentless going so fast. Let's just do that for now. We have him running over 270 now, which is great. He actually got a speed upgrade. He actually got faster by taking him out of the defensive chess piece and putting him in this triple speed roll. So he's going to be running at 275 or something once I glyph him out. So that's awesome. Okay, so there we go. Our Cardiel is rebuilt for just an all-around, all-purpose upgrade rebuild. Our Nergigante Archer was taken out of that specialist build as a mischief tank and kind of re-specialized in Relentless as an all-around crowd control champion, right? She's going to get those extra procs on her stuns, on her slows, on her provokes, and that's just really valuable. That additional speed is also going to really play. 278. I love that build. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to use these two champions. Honestly, they're two of my favorite champions, and having the opportunity to rebuild them and bring them in terms of power, just increase their power level, their effectiveness. They're going to be everywhere in my roster. You can see one's got a 6-star blessing, one's got a 5-star blessing. So yeah, these are the cornerstones of a good free-to-play account. This is what you want. You want to take your most powerful champions and you want to put them in the best builds you can get them into and then use them everywhere that you can use them. That's how you make a free-to-play account really effective. All right, let me know in the comments below, did you enjoy these rebuilds? What did you think? Did I miss some pieces? Maybe you eagle-eyed viewers out there noticed something that I could still tweak to improve these builds. Or, you know, do you think maybe this is overkill? Maybe I rebuilt two champions that you think I should have focused on other champions. I know some of you Nekmothar lovers are going to be upset that I stripped some speed off of that guy, but I promise you, he's still going to land in a very sweet spot. All right, that is it for me today. I have been Colred. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you in another video soon.